Shortly after I got off of work, well, I can't say shortly, I took me a nap, woke up, went hung out with some friends, get a phone call from my sister-in-law telling me that I immediately needed to check my Facebook. She said that Brandon, as y'all call him, Michael, was the one responsible for the school shooting.
Were you surprised?
I was a little bit, but over the years of growing up with him, it almost seemed like eventually he would do something like this, but not to this magnitude.
You called him Brandon, not Michael, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's call him Brandon. You grew up together, you're 2 years older than him. Both your parents have sadly died. What was he like as a kid, and when did things start to go wrong for him?
He was like any other kid. We always went out, played outside, played in woods, just did kidly things like everybody. And it's just, once he started hitting his teenage years, something happened with him. Everything just started changing after doctors started messing with his medicines here and there and changing them up and putting him on a different one and institutionalizing him multiple times to correct his medicine, and it just escalated from there.
He got into criminality. He became violent and dangerous. 10 times he was committed for treatment in mental health institutions. I believe all of them involuntarily, but by psychiatrists, by your parents, by whoever. Let's go through the escalation in his behavioral pattern. I think there was an incident in his mid-teens when he tried to set fire to the family home with everyone inside.
Yes, sir. There was approximately 8 people in the house asleep at the time. I say about an hour and a half before I came home, I was laying in my bed trying to go to sleep. Just started hearing this awful noise. I couldn't figure out what it was, so finally whenever I walked outside my door, it sounded exactly like wood popping. And I went straight to the attic and discovered that the fire was in the attic.
And he'd set a fire up to put the house ablaze?
At that point, we didn't know it was him. We didn't find out it was him till about 5, 6 a.m. in the morning.
He also stood over your parents holding an axe, threatening them.
It wasn't an axe. At one point, my stepfather and mother ended up having to lock up all the knives in the trunk of the car, just to protect everybody in the home. Because
he was threatening to use them?
He didn't threaten to use them. It's just after my mom woke up with him standing over her with a butcher knife, it just changed from there. They didn't keep knives in the house no more.
He also threatened to kill you?
Yes, sir, he did.
He posted very serious threats on Facebook directly at you, saying he was going to kill you.
Yes, sir.
How did that make you feel as his brother?
I honestly had no words for it except fear. That's the only thing I could think of.
Did you think he meant it?
I did. If I didn't, I wouldn't have contacted police.
The family contacted police about a dozen times, I understand, for various offences of the nature that we've been discussing. Nothing was ever really done, was it? Either by the mental health treatment that he had in the 10 or so times he was put inside those institutions, by any of the police that you contacted. Do you feel, let me ask you this, Tim, do you feel angry that the system betrayed your family?
I'm not angry. I feel like there's just a whole lot more they could have done. I feel like instead of people wanting, like, I'm going to give an example, rich, famous people wanting to reach out to the victims of somebody when they really should be reaching out to people that have mental disorders and that can wind up doing something he did.
I mean, President Obama called Antoinette tough, and I know that you were watching that on Anderson Cooper's show in the green room here, and you got angry because you felt that the president should be more focused on the problems that your brother had.
He should be more focused on trying to get to the bottom of what he can help, well, how he can help these kids in today's society instead of calling somebody up just to thank them for what they did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's been thanked by hundreds and hundreds of people.
Are you grateful to her?
Yes.
I mean, for effectively, she may well have saved your brother's life and the lives of countless children in the school.
Yes, sir. I really am. But I honestly did not see it necessary for President Obama to call her up when he could have been focusing more on what could be done to prevent things like this.
Let's listen to a clip from the 911 call that we played last night. Pretty dramatic. Let's listen to what she had to say, Antoinette Tough.
It's going to be all right, sweetie. I just want you to know that I love you, though, okay? And I'm proud of you. That's a good thing that you've just given up, and don't worry about it. We all go through something in life. No, you don't want that. You're going to be okay. I thought the same thing. You know, I tried to commit suicide last year after my husband left me. But look at me now. I'm still working and everything is okay.
Your brother tried to commit suicide numerous times.
Yes, sir.
How many would you say? At a guess.
Too many to count. And I couldn't put a number on it.
Where did he get the gun? He had an AK-47. Have you any idea where he would have got that?
My opinion on that, he had to get it off the street. And there's...
Illegally.
Illegally, and there's... I'm pretty sure there's going to be somebody that's going to bring up something about gun laws or this, that, and the other and with that, when in our reality there's no gun law whatsoever. Nothing anybody can do or say that's going to prevent somebody that wants to get their hands on a gun to get their hands on a gun.
And is that because there's just too many guns in circulation?
No, it's not even that. The guns that we have in the United States, majority of them probably didn't come from the United States. They were probably smuggled in from somewhere.
But there are 300 million guns in this country, and time and again now, it's the same type of mass shooter, or in your brother's case, potential mass shooter. They all seem to be mentally disturbed young, predominantly white men in their early 20s. I mean, look at Adam Lanza, look at any number of them, James Holmes and others. They're all in the same category. What is it, do you think, that is going on with these kids? What is it that can be done to try and stop more of them doing this kind of thing?
They need to be looked at more closely. They need to be given more help that they actually need to be given instead of pushed to the side because the doctor thinks they're well. And I don't know.
We've got some more from Antoinette Tough. She talks about this, actually. Let's listen to what she had to say.
He said he should have just went to the mental hospital instead of doing this because he's not on his medication.
You see, Tim, I don't want to try and justify what your brother did. I don't want to excuse it. I think it's inexcusable and unjustified. But when I talk to you, there's a pattern of behavior here and of mental illness and of constant failure by people to correctly identify what his problems are and deal with it, both from law enforcement, from mental health institutions, from anyone. As a family, did you feel in the end you had nothing else you could do, that it was a helpless situation for you?
Towards the end, before I stopped really talking to him, I felt hopeless at helping him. I tried many times growing up as a teenager to sit him down and talk to him, like, hey, look, if you just do this and that and the other, things might be easier on you. You probably won't be getting in as much trouble. But it's like he'd listen, and then a week or two later, he'd be back out of the house.
Have you tried to talk to him since this happened?
The shooting?
Yeah.
No, sir. I'm not allowed to.
Do you want to?
Right now, I'm honestly not sure. After this, I just want to collect my thoughts.
He has no parents. He only has, really, I guess, you as family and your other siblings. What do you think will happen to him?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't.